Hello and welcome. Today's class is called Glorious Glutes. So we will be focusing on, you guessed it, our gluteus muscles today. So that is your bum. Our glute muscles tend to be pretty weak and pretty snoozy just because of our sedentary lifestyle. We're sitting a lot more. Maybe you're hunched over at a computer desk all day, not really moving around a lot. So your glutes aren't as active. They're not firing when they should be firing. So that is one of the main things we'll focus on today, is really getting our glutes nice and fired up and getting them working when they should be working so that other parts of the body don't compensate for the glutes. So let's go ahead and get started. Roll down to your back, plant your feet into your mat, knees are facing up towards the ceiling. We'll first start by establishing our triple S alignment. That's the alignment of our skull, our scapula, sacrum. So lower your chin in towards your chest so that the back of your neck gets longer. Walk your shoulder blades underneath you a little bit so that your whole shoulder blade bone is pressing into the ground. And then lengthen your tail towards the front of your mat. You can even kind of tuck your tail a little bit to get that sensation of lengthening so that you can feel your sacrum pressing into the ground. Then take your hands onto your thighs without shrugging up your shoulders. Press your arms straight, and if they don't go straight, then move your feet a little bit farther away from you. That's going to give you space for your low back and reduce any pressure in your knees when we lift up into our bridge. Take a full breath in. Exhale, lift up into a low bridge pose. Get your glutes engaged right away. So we need our glutes to be engaged right now because our hips are in extension, and that's part of the glutes job, is to extend the hip. So that's one of the things we'll be focusing on today. Take your right foot and wiggle it towards the center of your mat and notice your right glute load a little bit more. Without dropping your left hip, you can start to unweight your left heel. Maybe you keep the ball under your foot on the ground to start, and then float your left knee over your left hip without dropping your left hip to the ground. Now, if you need to lower down at all, you can lower to that last rib on your rib cage basket. Just keep the back of your pelvis lifted, your glutes lifted so that you can activate them. Take your right hand to your left thigh and press your left thigh away, but don't allow that action to happen. Pull back with your left thigh at the same time. Notice how much your right glute has fired now. It needs to stay super active to support this one-legged variation and your hip and extension. Let's take a full breath in. Exhale out. Set your left foot back down. Bring your feet back to neutral. Wiggle your left foot towards center. Start by unweighting your right heel and then float your right knee over your right hip without letting your right hip drop. Remember, you can make any adjustments you need to here. Just keep the back of your pelvis lifted. Left hand presses your right thigh away now, but pull back with your right thigh at the same time to really light up your left glute. Hold strong here. And we'll come back to this bridge variation in our class today throughout. So you'll have several times to kind of really activate your glutes in this position. Let's take one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale out. Step your right foot down, reposition to your feet, hold in your bridge pose. Keep your glutes nice and engaged. Reach your arms up into the air, palms face up towards the ceiling. Take your right hand and pull back across your left fingers to stretch out your wrist. So anytime we put weight bearing in our hands, we need to make sure that they're nice and stretched out for that, because when we weight bear on our hands, we're in wrist extension. So that's what we're practicing right now. That's what we're stretching out. Full breath in, full breath out. Make sure your glutes are active. Left hand pulls back on your right fingers. And on this side, while we stretch out our right wrist, let's start to pulse the glutes. Teeny tiny little pulses, up and down, only lowering a half an inch or so, just so that you can get your glutes even more fired up than they already are. They should be talking to you. Now let's take another breath here. Inhale. Exhale out. Pause your pulsing, bring your hands onto your thighs, and then tense your fingertips so your palms aren't touching. Press your fingertips into your thighs, and what happens to your glutes as a response? They should engage, they should fire up. Keep that activation the whole time. I want you to think about drawing your pubic bone to your sternum to your pubic bone. So your pubic bone is where the zipper on your jeans would be. Sternum is the center of your chest. I want you to pull those two areas together towards the center of your body to keep that length in your low back and to help you activate your glutes. Keep pressing down with your finger pads and we'll start to lower upper, middle, and lower back, pulling the space below your belly button towards your back body and knitting together your sternum and your pubic bone. Very nice. Let's fire up into our core. Interlace your fingers behind your head, cup your elbows in so that they're nice and close to your temples. Take a breath in. Exhale, lift up off your shoulder blades. Press down to lift up. Pull your belly back as you exhale on that way up to get the lift. Inhale and lower. Exhale, lift up. Float your left knee over your left hip. Pull your front ribs towards your back body. Slowly lower your left foot. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up. Right knee floats over your right hip. Try not to let your belly poof up. Pull it back. Right foot lowers. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up. Float your left knee over your left hip. Lift up a little bit higher off your shoulder blades. Turn an inch to your left, keeping lifted off your left shoulder blade. Hold nice and strong. Grip your right foot into the ground. Turn back to center. Lower your right foot. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up. Right knee floats over your hip. Lift up a little bit higher without pulling your head forward. Turn an inch to your right. Keep lifted off your right shoulder blade. Pull your front ribs towards your back ribs. Turn back to center. Lower your right foot. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up. Left knee floats. Turn to your left. Take your right hand and press your left thigh away, just like we did before, but pull your thigh back at the same time. Pull your belly button back. Right hand behind your head. Turn back to center. Lower your left foot. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up. Float your right knee over your right hip. Lift up a little bit higher. Twist to your right. Left hand presses your right thigh away. You pull your right thigh back at the same time to activate those deep abdominal layers. Left hand behind your head. Turn back to center. Lower your right foot. Inhale, lower. Last addition. Exhale, lift up. Left knee floats. Lift up higher. Turn to your left. Press your left thigh away with your right hand. Now extend your right leg out to a hover, but firm your right glute into the ground to help with that hip extension. Rebend your right knee, right hand behind your head. Turn back to center. Lower your left foot. Inhale, lower. Last time. Exhale, lift up. Right knee floats. Lift up higher. Turn to your right. Left hand presses your right thigh away, but you pull back. Left leg extends out to a hover, but you firm your left glute into the ground. Pull your belly button towards your back. Rebend your left knee, left hand behind your head. Turn back to center. Lower your right foot. Inhale and lower. Nice work. Bring your knees into your chest. Give them a squeeze. And then make your way onto all fours. Shoulders stack over your wrists. Hips stack over your knees. So we are going to be doing this in our sequence. So you'll lower your right forearm down to the ground. Right elbow lines up right underneath your right shoulder. Your left elbow stays in. So if it's trying to wing out to the side, pull it in so that your elbow points towards the back of your mat. Now you'll sweep your left leg back, engage into your left glute as you do that, and then pull your left knee back in. Slide your left leg back, engage your glute to get that hip extension, pull it back in. Try that a few more times. So evenly distribute the weight between your right forearm and your left hand. And then each time you reach back, think about that zippering up of your pubic bone and sternum to hold your center nice and strong so that you can really activate your left glute. Do that one more time. And then switch sides. Left forearm lowers, right hand underneath your shoulder, right elbow stays in, left elbow underneath your shoulder. Zipper up pubic bone and sternum. Slide your right leg back, really get that right glute to engage. Pull in, re-extend using that glute engagement. Try that a few more times here. Really holding nice and strong, really getting that right glute to fire for you and to support your hip extension. Do that one more time. Pull your right knee back in, come back up to your quadruped.